Hello there. Welcome to this lecture on Chemical Engineering Economics, Part 2, Interest, Discount Rates, and Cash Flow Diagrams. There are some very important economics definitions that we have to cover before we start delving into some more fundamental equations. The first most important concept in all of economics is the idea of interest rate. This is also known as discount rate with the symbol of lowercase I. This is the money that you earn from an investment or the money that you pay for borrowing money from somebody else. This interest is paid in a regular interval, such as at the end of the month or at the end of a year. The most common type of interest is compound interest. This is an interest that is received and reinvested at a regular interval. We have to talk about the two most common types of interest rates. The first one is called annual percentage rate, APR. This is a rate which is used to calculate monthly interest. So if we have an 8% APR, we take that number, we convert it into a decimal, 0.08, and we divide by 12. This gives us a monthly interest rate. APR is a monthly interest rate. It just looks like a yearly interest rate. On the other hand, the actual yearly interest rate is called annual percentage yield, APY. This is a rate which is used to calculate yearly interest. Here is the formula for converting APR to APY. It's really important to know that APR has no meaning on its own. It must either be divided by 12 in order to get a monthly interest rate, or it has to be converted to annual percentage yield, which is a yearly interest rate. The actual value of APR really doesn't have a lot of meaning. So if you want to check my work, APY for an APR of 8% is 8.2999. Test yourself. So let's answer a couple of conceptual questions on these two types of interest rates. If banks want you to borrow money, they want to lend you money for a car or for a mortgage, which interest rate do they present to you? APR or APY? If you said APR, you are correct, and that is because APR is less than APY. So they want to present a number to you which is less than the actual annual percentage. If banks want you to invest in a CD or a savings account, which interest rate do they present to you? APR or APY? If you said APY, that is correct because APY is greater than APR. If you wish to check my math, I just want to show you that 8% APR, compounded monthly, is the same as 8.2999 compounded yearly. And you can check my work here. For the 8% APR account, if we are putting $1,000 into an account, let's say, after 12 months, we've earned $83.43. This is approximately the same as if we just earned 8.2999 at the very end of 12 months. We would be earning $83. So these are almost exactly the same. Remember, interest is paid at the end of a month or at the end of a year. It's not paid at the beginning of a month or the beginning of the year. Let's next look at cash flow diagrams. Let's look at what they are. A cash flow diagram is really, really useful. It's a number line representation of money entering and leaving an account over time. And when I say account, this could be your savings account, your checking account, a company's account, maybe it's your investment account. It's just a visual representation of money entering and leaving an account over time. So this is a representation of my checking account or your checking account. And I'm just going to list here 6 months. And this cash flow diagram signifies that $1,000 entered my checking account. So let's look at the various aspects of this cash flow diagram. Notice that dollar signs are not shown. That is implied. The upward arrow means money is coming into the account. A downward arrow would signify money leaving the account. Time 0 signifies right now, or it can signify the point in time when I opened the account. It could signify the time when I started keeping track of when I was putting money into the account. It signifies some time right now. It can also signify some time in the past. The 1 signifies the end of month 1, the 2 signifies the end of month 2, the 3 signifies the end of month 3, etc. Notice that units of time must be stated. Sometimes students forget to put the units of time. This is very, very, very important. Lastly, notice that interest earned is not shown on a cash flow diagram. Only money we add or remove from the account is shown. This is very important to remember. Test yourself with this example. So try to see if you can draw the cash flow diagram, which represents your checking account. You borrow $5,000 from your parents and pay it back 20 years later. What does the cash flow diagram look like? This is what mine looks like. So I've put the number line down all the way from 0 to 20 years. $5,000 enters my checking account. $5,000 leaves my checking account. Notice that we can use hash marks to make the cash flow diagram more compact. You can do this on the number line. And notice that arrows are drawn approximately to scale. Test yourself with another example. Draw the cash flow diagram representing your checking account. You pay $20,000 as a down payment for a house. Your mortgage payments are $1,000 a month for 15 years. You sell the house at the end of 15 years for $250,000. I will get you started by drawing the number line for you. So the $20,000 is a downward arrow because this money is leaving the checking account. Also, the $1,000 a month are also downward arrows. Those are downward arrows because that money is leaving the account every month at the end of the month. But we have a huge $250,000 upward arrow, and notice that I used the hash marks to make that arrow more compact. So notice that you can use a double-headed arrow to show multiple cash flows of the same value. So notice that I didn't have to write 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 all the way down the cash flow diagram. I could use a double-headed arrow to show that all of those cash flows are the same. Remember, the interest you pay on this loan is not explicitly shown on a cash flow diagram. Only sums of money that we take out or put in are shown.